Coming up, more on last night's Scottish vote on independence, including the thoughts of Scottish Northerner David Whitelock, who wanted Scotland to vote yes. We'll talk with Yellowknife's David Whitelock about where his country goes from here. The people of Scotland have spoken. The majority of voters in yesterday's referendum on sovereignty chose to remain as part of the United Kingdom. It's a disappointment for Yellowknife resident David Whitelock. Originally from Scotland, he has made Canada his home for the last 5 years, and he joins me in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
David, you wanted Scotland to become an independent country. What happened last night?
Oh, I think there's a lot of post-referendum analysis on what actually happened. I think in terms of the biggest figures, what we saw was that the over 65s, account 76% of them voted for no. So the older generation had almost the final say, as they often do. and so that's how we really find ourselves in the position we're in. But that's the only demographic over 65. Everyone else, the stats are proving, was for yes. So that bodes well for the future.
How did you spend the evening?
Oh, I sat there with my iPad, my iPhone, my computer and the TV all on simultaneously, answering messages from all over the world, just talking about what was going on, sharing thoughts and experiences and events as they unfolded.
How did you feel personally then, after the result became known and the analysis was done?
I was devastated. I've believed in independence for many, many years, not as a nationalist. I'm not an SNP supporter. I come more from a sort of socialist background, but fervently thought that Scotland could create its own new social democracy. However, yeah, there was tears last night, very much so. It was like, when you break up with a lover, almost. That's how deep it penetrated.
Do you have any fears at all that Scotland might follow the path of Northern Ireland and the violent troubles that it had for decades on nationalist issues?
I would hope not. I think if one thing that was demonstrated last night was that we are a peaceful nation, and the democratic process spoke to the world. I mean, there is some unrest just now taking place in George Square in Glasgow, and some of it's unsightly. But I don't think it's going to be in terms of the intensity that we've seen in other parts of the world post, voting time.
Your hometown of Glasgow voted yes.
Yes, we did.
To a new country. Edinburgh did not. They voted no.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, in terms of the Scottish divide, there's a few different divides. But between the M8, the highway that goes between both, one seemed very much to be under English influence because it holds most of the country's capital in terms of banking, etc. And it's where the Scottish Parliament resides. And then on the other side, Glasgow is a city that has perhaps experienced a lot more challenges in terms of poverty and investment over the years. So I think that's quite evident in how Scotland voted last night. The same with Dundee coming in with the yes vote, and North Lanarkshire. All these areas are the most deprived areas of Scotland.
What do you feel should happen now moving forward?
We need to hold Westminster accountable to the decisions that have been suggested, made, whatever way you want to interpret that. I'm not 100% convinced that what Mr Cameron has stated to the UK will hold true. And I think there's some backpedaling, perhaps noises of that starting to emanate already. So we'll see how this plays out over the next few months. And I think the Scottish people will hold them accountable. If there is any backpedaling, there'll be huge questions to be asked. So hopefully we can move forward with that and build a better Scotland and a better United Kingdom, because hopefully this will influence other people's thought processes as we go forward into the next general election.
Good to get your point of view on this issue, David, and thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think about the results of the Scottish referendum? Email us at cbcnorth@cbc.ca. Contact our toll-free phone